We have Melissa Lancaster on the podcast with us today. We're so grateful that she's here sharing some time and her talents and resources with us from the Acapella Ministries. She's VP of Acapella Ministries and has been in that position for the last 4 years. So, Melissa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I've known about the Acapella Company for a long time and the ministries that you all do and what you and your dad and your mom have been doing over the last 10 or 15 years or more. And they've really blessed my life. And then I was watching what you were doing with Praise and Harmony TV, and I thought, wow, that really came along at a great time.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that is and where the idea came from?
And I really think, I think it was providential. I think the Lord placed it on my dad's heart, right when it needed to be, because it was probably the end of 2019. It was in the last year, and October, November, and we just felt like we really needed this kind of a Netflix style with streaming options for all the different songs that people could learn. We wanted to not just take our training versions. We have over 500 different worship songs, hymns and newer arrangements, songs on the radio and stuff, a cappella versions. And my dad was like, it would be great if we had parsed separately soprano only and an alto only and a tenor only and bass only versions of all these songs. So effectively like 7 versions of every single song. And we're like, man, that's a lot of content. We need a place to host that. And then it just kind of grew from there. And it wouldn't be great if we had classes on how to sing better and voice care with professionals and music classes and Dr. Mike talking about theory. And then it just kind of grew from there, ideas. And so we started working on it, and we just had this vision to get it done before we had a recording in January, kind of right before all the COVID stuff started to, blossom out. And so it was right about that time that we were like, well, let's get it done before then. And then it was just providential that we were all set and already up and running right about the time when a lot of churches just had to close their doors. And it's been an overwhelming response that we've had, and we're just so thankful and blessed that we could be here to try to help a lot of churches through this process of everyone's going online now, and so many churches didn't really know how do we do that? What does that look like? We don't even have a praise team or any recorded music, so how do we do that? And so we've been able to help with Praise and Harmony TV facilitate basically the music side, where we have full congregational versions of these songs, whether it's hymns, like I said, or modern songs on the radio. And it's just a cappella versions where 300 professional singers are singing these songs, and you can just stream them. It's got the sheet music and the lyrics on the screen. And so a lot of people are using that for the worship portion of what they're pushing out every week on Facebook or their website. And so it came along, I feel like, just at the right time. God foreknew what was going to happen. And so we're blessed to get to meet a lot of new churches too, churches we haven't connected with before. And I've been able to talk to so many amazing worship ministers and preachers who are just trying to kind of fill multiple roles, who've never, they don't know how to do anything online. And they're like, I'm just learning. It's so new. And I said, I'm learning too. I'm learning more about royalties and copyright and all that kind of stuff than I ever thought I would have to know. But it's, I feel like overall people are saying this is something that needed to happen, and we kind of wanted our church to get into. And this has just been the catalyst to get us to where we kind of wanted to be anyway. So,
yeah, I think that's just the providential plan and caring of God, the work of the Holy Spirit, just to line that up, put that on his heart, give him the creative ability and the talent and the mind to come up with these things. It just came at just the right time. And when all this happened, and again, I saw what you all were doing, and I'd heard about it before, but obviously had no idea the level. It's certainly a relevant thing, no matter if COVID happens or not, but with all that happening, it's just such a relevant, beautiful thing that you're doing. And if you want to see the love for people, just look at these ministers who, in churches of Christ mostly are 60 plus, 55 plus, and they're trying to work this technology angle for the first time. And it is just the love for people and the love of God that keeps them going. It's a struggle for so many, and I'm sure you're on the phone with quite a few of them.
Yeah, I've been able to reach out and talk to so many different people, and it is. I thank them all for their time because I know it's so much of an effort to learn so many new things that they didn't know with the streaming process and uploading and figuring out where to post things, and I know it's a lot. It's a learning curve, but like you said, it's a effort of love on their part, and I really do. I want to say a thank you, and I appreciate all the ministers out there and shepherds who have taken their time to work through those issues to kind of hold the church together. I know Christ holds us together, but it's nice that we can still connect and kind of feel apart when we're distancing socially. We can still kind of, our hearts can be joined in unity through still kind of seeing things together. So I love that.
That's right. So is there a way to continue to create content on your end without being able to meet with all the distancing?
Absolutely. Actually, we are. It's funny during this time, some people say, "Oh, it's been a nice break," and I think, "Wow, we've been somewhat busier than I've ever been my whole life." So we have a studios here in Nashville where we're kind of cranking out all kinds of material from all the way from Luke and Clef, which is kind of a children's program teaching music and new songs and stuff. So it's utilizing puppets and singers and stuff. And then we've got lots of scripture memorization type things. My brother is the master, Anthony Lancaster. He's the worship minister at Madison Church of Christ, and he is the master at memorizing long passages of scripture. And we're getting him creating all these really cool videos. In addition to what was recorded in January, right before all this happened, we had just finished 2 albums that we recorded, and we're kind of releasing those songs here and there as we can. And actually, just the other day, we released our first virtual choir, international. We had 230, I think, singers from all around the world. It's a really neat piece. You should check it out. Hero of Israel. It's a song that Anthony wrote. So we kind of gathered that and put that together. And that was so, I mean, we're staying pretty busy. We're connecting with a lot of preachers and teachers for Praise and Harmony. We're adding a lot of content that helps. We've heard from a lot of homeschool moms, which I guess everyone's a homeschool mom at this
That's
moment,
right.
but kind of who are looking for content to help, to train their kids. And we've got a series called Science in the Bible with Patrick Mead, and we've got Earl Lavender coming up, and we've got some just great theologians that are providing a lot of content on the word and worship, and seeing God in music and in other areas, and it's just it's a really neat process trying to put all that content together and filter it in there. But yeah, we're on high production mode right now, so it's good. I
That's
hadn't
great.
slowed us down.
It hit me probably just over a year ago. I was looking for YouTube, and I was just thinking about how, you have to kind of go where the people are.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really just expect them to come to you.
Right.
So I was just looking for like just good content, good theology, things in line with my core beliefs. And
Mm-hmm.
there's certainly a lot of that on YouTube, but there's a lot of really just tough stuff on there too. A lot of arguments and just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
get into landmines and stuff. And I thought, it'd be really great if more ministries and churches just put content online and had avenues to do that. And so that's why I starting to put more content online.
That's
And
great.
like, what a blessing. Like, I'm just looking at this going like, how many preachers who I know and love and respect who were not putting any of this stuff online, it was just all kept in
Yeah.
house, are
Yeah.
now just putting all this out there for people.
Yes.
I was talking to one minister who was saying that, they have like 300 in attendance, but they're having like 900 watch every week
Yes.
online. And I mean, there's some really great things happening right now
I
with
love
teaching,
that.
with worship, and so
I
God
love
is leveraging this moment, I think, for the
Absolutely.
future. And I'm a huge believer that we have to think generationally. That,
Yes.
the Acts 2:39, this promises for you and your
Yep.
children.
Yep.
And I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so as you're talking about even your children's programming, that's not just thinking about one more thing to keep kids busy. You're talking about generational culture and teaching, instruction. I mean, if in the
Right.
book of Judges, just one generation had said, we're not going that route one more time, that story would have turned
Yeah.
out different. And
Yeah.
so I
You're
appreciate that
exactly
you're
right.
not just aiming at older adults, or adults in general who are older than kids,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the children too, and trying to pass on a heritage and a legacy and those sorts of things is just
Yes.
really, it's insightful and
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're trying to hit every age if possible. So we've got acapella babies, which is it's a series. It's almost like the what's the one they do with the Disney stuff, the Baby Einstein kind of thing. It's just colors and music and shapes, and then we have acapella kids, which is like toddlers, and then we have region harmony, which is targeted ages 13 to 25, so kind of like the college age, high school, and that's actually I think we're still open on that, and we're allowing kids to do a virtual. We're doing an album, a brand new album. We put out one album last year, and now it's the next region album, and it's fun music targeted at that age group, and we've got a lot of mashups and just fun new worship music that we're putting together. So we're trying to engage every generation and just help them see how awesome it is to worship the Father, and specifically like a cappella music is so neat because you can use your voice, which is the greatest instrument ever created by God. You don't need anything else, and it's kind of cool that you could just get together and you don't have to have any other skills, and you can just sing and make some pretty cool sounds with your with your voice too. So that makes it really fun, and
Mm-hmm.
so we're just trying to share that with everyone.
So if someone's watching this and they're a minister and they're trying to figure out, like, maybe now they have their sermon online, but they're trying to figure out worship online, can you walk us through a little bit of what you do? And is it only applicable to live stream versus pre-record with the licensing? Like,
Yeah.
can you walk through a little bit of that?
Sure, sure. So in the past, kind of basically what a lot of churches are actually wanting right now is what we would call like a rebroadcasting license, which is you're taking pre-recorded material that someone else has put together, and you want to push it out there in your own production. And so, for those rebroadcasting licenses in the past, what would happen is they would have to a church or a podcast or a TV show would basically send in a request. We would use this song, and we would have to fill out the paperwork, and then we'd decide on a price, $50, $60 a song, whatever that looked like. And so it was kind of a long, drawn out process just for one song. So we had to think about it, talk with some people, some advisors, lawyers, different people, figuring out how can we make this super simple, easier, and cheaper for the churches, because nobody wants to pay $50 a song and have to fill out paperwork per song. And so we have basically we've decided, and we figured out as a ministry, we can allow the church annual subscription license on Praise and Harmony TV, which is a streaming service. We're going to allow that license to cover anything that people want to use to push out of our material during this time. So even if we're asking that, if they want to stream it directly from Praise and Harmony TV, they would go sign up their church annual license. And then there's different ways to stream it directly from that website. You can get like a streaming box, or you can do some, if you got a tech team, there's different ways. But the other option is on our website, acapella.org. We have every single album we've ever created in a video format, so MP4 downloadable format. You can get any song with the sheet music and congregation built in. I think you can get like 50 videos for $29, something like that. So it's like 60 cents a video, and you get the training disc version and the full group version. So you can download those, and then you can insert that into your if you want to put a sermon, maybe you have a elder or a shepherd lead a prayer. Then people will put a bumper in and out and something, maybe a countdown, which we offer up for free on our Praise and Harmony TV as downloads. And so you can kind of build this little service based around maybe the sermon or whatever. And then we're allowing people to push that out on Facebook, on their website, wherever they want to, and host it there for a week until the next service is ready, and then ask that they take the music portion down and then put the next song up. So we're trying to allow a lot of things during this time to help churches in that area. Whereas, before there's so many rules and regulations and sync licenses and copyright issues, and learning a lot more than I ever thought I would.
Sure.
But but we're trying to make it just super simple. So it's a really simple, just a couple steps. You go to praiseandharmony.tv, sign up for the church annual license, and that's a license you need. If we see something pop up on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, we'll search it. We see the name of the church and we say, okay, they're good to go. Don't. And because sometimes it'll flag them. The little web bots will flag you, and they'll say someone's using your music, and we'll say that's okay, they're cool. So so that's kind of how we're covering the license portion. And then beyond that, anything that people want to stream of the acapella company music, and that's pretty much everything that we have on our website. We're just asking that it's not hosted permanently. So after a week, they take it down. Yes. That way, it can't be redistributed, because then technically they become a record company. That's a whole nother issue. But
yeah, can you just explain that just for a moment? Because I think it leaves people saying, why do we have to do that?
Yeah, why do we have to take it down? You mean?
Take it down, yeah.
So essentially, I like to talk about it kind of like if you think about Netflix or Amazon, they have streaming services. So Netflix, you pay $8 a month or whatever, $9 a month, whatever it is. You can watch as many unlimited movies, TV shows as you want, and it turns out to be a fraction of the cost than if you want to go download. Let's say that movie that you just watched, I want to own that. I want to download it. Now you're looking at a totally different license. You got to go to Amazon or iTunes and pay like $9 or $10 for one film, right? Because they know that if you own that digitally, that download, you can share that, you can watch it whenever offline, and they can't track that. And so you have to pay a different price for that. In the same way with music, iTunes, if you stream from iTunes Music, there's a certain price per month, and you can stream unlimited. Now, if you want to download a song, it's like $1.29 per song. So you can see there's different, and that's we don't create that. Those are all whoever they are.
Right. This is not your doing.
Exactly.
You're trying to help.
Right. So a lot of the songs that we record are actually, we get the licenses for them, but we don't own the content. We have publishing companies and record labels, and say Michael W. Smith writes a song, worship song, and then we license it. We license the right to record it, and now we have to track it, and we have to pay royalties to his publishing company and all these different things. And so there's a chain of command that we're kind of a little bit down the structure on. And so whether we sell a download versus whether we're streaming versus all these different things, we have to pay different portions on our end, which is why we can allow certain things and then we can't allow others. So for example, if someone were to host a song online, let's say they downloaded one of our songs and then they uploaded it and it's permanently on their website and downloadable, they have basically made themselves a redistributing resource for this song. So at that point, I mean, even if we don't come after them, let's say Michael W. Smith's publishing company might say, hey, you're giving away the song that you don't own. So record labels might come after. And so I've actually heard during this time, some churches have, I won't name names, but some have gotten sued for doing things incorrectly. So we're just trying to make sure we've got all our T's crossed and I's dotted and everything is kind of, legit in that way. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible, but we're also trying to honor all the people who put so much time and effort into writing this music and publishing this music. And even the licenses, it's interesting to me, for example, sheet music. It's one of those things that, like, why is it, I don't know if it's $4 or $5, whatever the amount is per song. It's, when people take the time to put all that together and then whoever wrote the song is licensing here, now you're going to be able to recreate this, that whole royalty, like basically what we have to pay in order to sell that is significantly higher than what we have to pay royalty wise for an MP3, for a stream. And so it's kind of like our prices are based on what they're charging us. And really, if people could see the fraction of what we're actually making on top of it, they'd be shocked. I think we need to, as Christians, support all the ministries and people out there who are creating this content and working so hard. And a lot of times, and maybe you found this, but we just want to say, oh, it's for the Lord, we need to give it away. But a lot of people can't do what they do. We don't ask, preachers to preach for free and you'll never get paid anything. We don't ask anyone to do anything for free in this world. So we know that we have to, everyone who's writing these songs and the publishing companies, they have to make a living too, doing what they're doing. And so we try to honor that and give them what is due. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that's
Oh,
understood.
it
And
does.
it
Yeah.
is,
No,
it does, question does come up a lot. So
it's a great explanation. And, I think it's good to put up the right perspective on that, because it'd be
sure.
very easy to look at that and go, oh, they're just trying to keep this or that from happening. People make something up in their mind and that becomes fact. And when the reality is you're doing people a huge favor. Like, if churches had to do the amount of work that you've had to do to figure all that out and work through it, they would just be in an absolute mess. So kudos to you for working through all that and doing that and providing it for the way that you have is just a blessing. And that's partly why I wanted to talk is, just to get this in front of more people. And so, you know, obviously it's a need now, but when this all resolves or however this works out, there's still going to be an ongoing need. And I'm really hoping
Yes.
churches will continue an online presence and
Yes.
continue with this,
Yes. Absolutely.
keep it going. Don't just
Yeah.
stop now, because the audience has grown
Absolutely.
and it's there, and they're tuned
Yes.
in, and they may be all around the world. Don't stop blessing them
Absolutely.
just because we get back to the building.
Absolutely. And I've heard several churches that have said that. They said we're going to keep doing this because it's kind of like what you said. They've had more streaming online than they've ever had people walk into their church building, and they're like, this is, and they've heard from people who've called in and said, I'm disabled, I haven't been able to come into church, or I, for whatever reason, maybe I've been scared, I didn't want to walk into a church building, but I've been watching your online streaming and it's touching my heart. And so I feel like the audience is so broad when we go online, and it's amazing how many more people you can reach. And like you said, so even when we do open our doors again and start having physical services, I really hope and pray, and it sounds like most churches are going to continue to do the online thing, because it's just, again, your audience is so much broader. So,
I think that gets difficult on, or like, one minister churches where that person's wearing all the hats. And
sure.
now, to your point on getting busier, a lot of people in that situation have gotten far busier than they were before.
Absolutely.
They're still checking on people, but now they're having to figure out video cameras and
Mm-hmm.
audio and posting on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
I could see that being difficult in
Yeah.
a 100-member church or 200-member church with
Sure.
small staff. But if it's multi-staff,
Yeah.
with some good volunteers, with some good tech volunteers,
Yeah.
that this is reasonable to keep this
Mm-hmm.
rolling for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely. And I can give you maybe some links if you want to attach it. It's some good information on how to maybe get people started who are like, I don't even know where to begin with all this. So I can send that.
Yeah, please do send that to me, and I'll put that in the description for people to get to. And
Cool.
so what I've heard you say is, if people want to get on board with this and they want to do this with their church, they need to go to praiseandharmony.tv.
That's right.
Subscribe to the annual plan, and then the resources are both there and at acapella.org.
Both there and acapella.org. And the reason we've had to do that, this basically the streaming service at praiseandharmony.tv, it's kind of like a Netflix where it allows streaming and it allows free downloads, but yet the service that we're going with don't allow it doesn't allow us to be able to charge per item. And so because we pay different royalties on it, we're having to kind of still host that at our site for the differing options there. So basically there's a lot of content that either my dad, Keith Lancaster, has written, or my brother, or that we just kind of own because it's, for different, or maybe it's some of the older hymn content, and some of that we are giving away for free as downloads. There's a downloadable content section on Praise and Harmony TV, and we're trying to just give that as resources. We've got some countdowns. We've got a lot of free sermons and different things like that we're making available. But there's some things that we couldn't get the royalties to just give it away. We still have to pay a certain fee on top of our streaming service. So if people want to own the MP4s where they download and edit it in, that's where we're asking that you go to acapella.org and actually purchase those downloads. But that streaming license is step one, because that's what's going to allow you and cover you to stream unlimited songs, and we're not going to, shut it down or anything. So step one is getting the praiseandharmony.tv license. And then if you have a streaming box and a tech team that knows how to just stream from the website, which a lot of people have done that, then you don't need anything else. You're good to go.
I think part of just in being in minister groups and things and listening to what people are saying and asking, because this what y'all are doing has been brought up a lot in different groups, private groups and other groups online. And so one of the pieces of confusion, I think, has been streaming versus pre-record. And it seemed as if at first maybe the licensing was only for streaming, not for pre-record, but it sounds like it's for both as long as you take it down after the week due to the licensing requirements that you talked about.
Correct. Yeah, and I think the problem with that was just the I think the terminology. People use different. They say it different ways, but basically, when we say streaming, we mean in any way, shape, or form that you want to push this publicly out online. So that's Facebook or your website or YouTube or whatever you're using to stream it out. And so it doesn't have to be live stream.
Live stream,
It can be hosted, and you can stream it as a host, but as long as it's not permanently hosted. So that's the caveat we have to remind them, is that we're allowing it to stay up for a week, but then you need to take it down, because otherwise you get into territory that,
Yes. Now you change categories and that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So you've explained how people start. Do you all have like future plans, projects, things coming up that people need to be aware of?
Yes, actually, I think I mentioned that we just released the first virtual choir, and that was a huge success. It's been up for, I think, 2 days, and it has 30-something thousand views right now. And so we're definitely going to continue the virtual choir experience, and that's a praise and harmony event that anyone can be a part of. We're not requiring, where in the past with our recordings you have to have quartet and you have to try out and you have to learn a certain amount of music. Right now, for those projects, we're just going to be open to whoever and whenever, and probably one song at a time to kind of, so we invite people to go like the praiseandharmony.tv Facebook page to keep up with all what's going on, and we're going to push out a lot of information about that. And then lots of new series coming to praiseandharmony.tv. Lots of exciting new music and some other opportunities, and Region Harmony too. We're getting ready to close the number of people in that, but we have a couple of weeks left. So if you know anyone between the ages of 13 and 25 that want to be involved with a really cool youth-oriented worship project, we're encouraging people to go sign up for that. And you can go to the regionharmony.com website or Facebook page, Region Harmony, REGEN. And we're trying to regenerate the next regenerate the next generation. Regen. So
absolutely. We tried singing Happy Birthday on Zoom the other day with like 6 people, and it was,
how did that go?
Terrible.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Right. So for the virtual choir, you mean?
Yeah. Don't have to give away any secrets here, but
no, it's fine. Yeah. Honestly, it's a really cool process. We send out the sheet music and like a click training disc version of the song. And so what happens is whoever is a part of it, so you have to have basically 2 devices, like a phone and a computer, or 2 phones, and one's recording and one you're playing the music from, or stereo device or whatever, and you put an earbud in and you hear and then the song starts and you sing your part along with it. And so you're basically on a specific beats per minute, and so we can sync it. So then when everybody sends in their hundreds of videos and they upload it, we can sync it because they're all singing at the same time. So even though we're all apart singing it, when it comes together, it's just it's phenomenal. I'd love to send you the link for that if you want to put that on here.
I've seen that online. That's it's hard to miss because y'all done such a good job, and that's spreading like crazy on Facebook. So no, y'all doing great work.
Thank you so much.
Really good work. Well, thank you for catching us up on this. And is there anything else that, just clarity-wise, or things that you'd like to explain, or things that we should know with what you're doing? Because people have a lot of questions. Like maybe what's the most common question you get asked when people call?
I think we've covered a lot of what you were asking me earlier about just the streaming. Does that cover pre-edited and just kind of the order in which to do things? Like, do we get the license? Does the license cover this? And so, I think a lot of people are learning quick and are really open to doing whatever needs to be done. And so I appreciate everybody's patience as we're learning too. And I don't know, I want to thank everybody for continuing to do what they need to do to kind of keep the body together. And it's it's neat to see how much effort has gone into that and how people are still finding ways to connect. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing me
Oh,
to talk
sure.
about it for a little bit.
Thank you for innovating. Thank you for participating and giving of your time and of yourself. We only get so many years and so much time to do this. And you've picked a really valuable thing to be a part of. And so I appreciate that, the fact that you've done that. That's
Thank
a
you.
big deal. And we appreciate you. We appreciate your family and the ministry. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the
Thank you.
podcast today. It's just been a really
Appreciate it.
blessing to connect and get to hear some more about what you're doing. And hopefully that blesses more ministries and churches to
So,
improve what they're
yes.
doing. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Appreciate it. God bless you guys.
Absolutely.